7 things that should happen between 20 and 30. 7 things that should happen between the age of 20 and 30. So I'll start by saying, you need to understand that there's a window in which certain things should happen. There is a window in which certain things should happen. For example, if you are a football fan, you understand that there's a window between which a football season lasts. And it lasts for how many months? Football fans here. It starts from 11 months. From August to July. So 11 months. So if you want to play in the Barclays Premier League, you only play in those 11 months. So out of those 11 months, even if your team is very qualified and your team is very good, you cannot play in the Premier League when they're on break. They go for break for how many months? For 1 month. A break. So July, and they start again in September, in August. So no matter how qualified you are, no matter how talented you are, when they're on break, you can't play. Right? Because there is a window in which certain things should happen. There is a window, for example, here in Kenya. We have a window in which elections happen. And elections happen after every 5 years in the month of August. Right? So after every 5 years, in the month of August, we elect new leaders. Like what is about to happen next month. So even if you are a very good leader, very gifted, very eloquent, a very good politician, if it is not within the 5-year period where the elections happen, after the 5-year period, we cannot elect you. So there is a window in which certain things, there is a window in which certain things happen. So anything within that window succeeds more than anything done outside the window. Anything done within that window succeeds more than anything done out of the window. So there are certain things that cannot succeed if they are not done with the window. But anything that is done within that window does what? Succeeds. So ask yourself, what am I supposed to do between the window of 20 and 30? Because everything you do within that window will succeed. But if you don't do it within that window, things might go haywire. Things might go haywire. But if you do it within that window, you succeed. The rate of success is higher. The rate of success is higher within the window. Yes. For example, there's a window in which a woman can get pregnant in her cycle, right? A woman has a cycle of 30 days. 30 days or 28 days? 28 days. So she has a cycle of 28 days. There is a time where the woman is highly fertile. And at that time, she can easily get pregnant. Is it after the 14 days? On the 14th day. On the 14th day, I have ladies here who are helping me. On the 14th day, the window for getting pregnant is very high. So if you have intercourse at that time, if you're married and have sex at that time, the potential of getting a child is quite high. Not to say that if you have sex after the 14th day, you will not get pregnant. You can get pregnant. But the success rate of getting pregnant are not as high as on the window of the 14th day. So a lot of things that are done within their window become successful. The rate of success is higher. But most of the things that are done out of the window, even though they can be successful, there is a high likelihood they will not be very successful. But they cannot be very successful. So you need to understand there is a window called the window of the age of 20 and 30. 20 and 30, the decade of 20 and 30. And I'd like to call this decade the decade of decision and discovery. The decade of decision. Why do I say this? Because in this decade, you get to decide so many things. In this decade, you get to decide, number one, how your life will turn out. It is in this decade you decide. You decide, number two, who you will marry. It is this decade that people get married, right? I got married when I was 24 years. Between that decade, between 20 and 30, I decided that this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. Look, it would have been easier for me to say, I don't want to get married, I can stay. It's still a decision. But the probability of you getting married in your 20 and 30 is quite high. And the chances of success when you get married at that time is also high. So that is a decision you make. You make, number one, you make the decision on how your life will turn out. Number two, you make a decision on who to marry. Number three, you make the decision of whether to finish school or not. It's a decision. Some of us, this is the phase in which we encompass, right? You join campus most likely from the age of 19, right? If you get too late, around 20 years, 20 years, right? But by the age of 23, 24, most of us are done with our undergraduates, right? That's a decision you make, if you will go through school or not. And that decision is made between the age of 20 and that is to tell you that in this decade, we get to decide so many things in our life. And also, we get to discover so much about us. This is the age where you discover that you have a love for men. Not that it was not there. It was there. But it was not as strong as at this age. Why do you think you've been struggling with fornication? The discoveries that you've made have made you struggle with fornication so much. No matter how many I come here and say 30 reasons why you should not fornicate, that night you go and discover a reason why I should fornicate. 50 reasons why. Me, I gave you 30. You go and say 50 reasons why I should fornicate. You're discovering. Because this is the age of discovery. This is the age where we discover who we are made of. This is the age where we discover what we are made of. This is the age where we discover our temperaments. You discover, Allah, I'm phlegmatic. Mimi Spenangi, I don't like being harassed. So you get to discover a lot of who you are. You discover your career. It is in this age that we discover our careers. Yes, I discovered I'm supposed to be a man of God in my late teenage, spilling over to 20. So I knew this is what I'm called for. So I knew I don't need to be a mechanic. I didn't go to school to try out mechanic. I didn't go to try out engineering. I don't know even how to remove airlock in my house. It's recently that I learned. Because that's not my area. I discovered my career is this. Our lady here, Patience, discovered that she can be a lawyer. She went to school to study law. Pastor Wangari here discovered that she can be a lawyer. She went to school to do law. Our famous BBIT master discovered that he can do IT and business. So he went to school to study IT and business. You understand? Pastor Cecilia over here discovered that she can do a degree in communications because she's a good communicator. So she went to do public relations. So you understand, this is where we discover who we are. This is where we discover what we can become and what we should become. So this is the window of decisions and discovery. Remember, this is the window of decisions and discovery. So anything that is done within that window succeeds more than anything that is done out of the window. So ladies and gentlemen, I would want today to pose to you a question. Have you found your purpose? Have you found your purpose? Have you found what you are created to be? Have you found what you are created to become? Have you found what you are created to be? Have you found what you are created to become? Because in this window, if you find it, the rate of success is higher. Remember, the rate of success is higher. So finding your purpose early gives you a head start to success. Finding your purpose early gives you a head start. Gives you what? Gives you what? A head start to what? To success. What is a head start? A head start is an advantage. When you are racing against girls, what do you tell them? I'm giving you a head start. A head start of 100 meters. A head start of 200. That is if the ladies don't know how to race. There are some ladies, if you race with them, you'll embarrass yourself. You'll embarrass yourself. You know one? They can run. Why is it like I'm looking at them? The lady can run. So those ones, you don't give them a head start. You say we have the same advantage. But a lady who doesn't know how to run, like Lady Sandra here, you say, Landra, I give you a head start. Take 100 meters. Now, what you've given her gives her the potential of becoming successful in that race. The potential of winning the race. Vis-a-vis, if you decide not to give her a head start. So when you discover your purpose early, you give yourself a head start for success. That means before your peers discover themselves, you'll have discovered yourself and you'll have already started. That is what a head start is. Tell me, that is what a head start is. So ask yourself, have I given myself a head start? It's a question. How do you give yourself a head start? You give yourself a head start by starting early. So, let's look at a few great leaders who started early. Number one, there's a guy called Alexander the Great. Have you heard of Alexander the Great? Alexander the Great. Have you heard him? Have you heard of him, rather? Now, Alexander the Great conquered most of the known world. And it is said, according to his biography, at the age of 17, he started commanding the army. At the age of, he was doing what? Commanding the army. Can you imagine at 17, he became a chief commander, commander-in-chief, CIC. Commander-in-chief, like the president of Kenya, at the age of 17. That's why, by the time he was dying, which he died in his early 30s, he had conquered the entire known world. Can you imagine? At the age of 20, he became an empire. Is it an empire or an emperor? An emperor. He was in charge of the empire. At the age of 20. By the age of 30, he had conquered the entire known world at the time. Like he was the leader of the known world at the time. He was the leader of? At the time. At the age of 32, he was dead. He came, conquered, and left. Can you imagine? At 32, he was gone. At 30, he had conquered the entire world. So at 32, there was nothing to conquer. I think that's why he died. But look at how him starting early advantaged him. At 30, I see you at 30 having conquered a lot. I say, I see you at 30 having conquered a lot. You will conquer so much at 30. You'll have built your house at 30. You'll have bought a house at 30. You will be doing the work of the ministry at 30. By the grace of God, you will become such a great leader by 30. You'll become a global captain, an industry captain. Do you believe it? Another leader is Augustus, Caesar. Caesar Augustus. Caesar Augustus. Augustus Caesar, or Caesar Augustus. Augustus became a senator of Rome at the age of 20. And consequently, became the first empire of Rome at the age of 20 as well. He was a senator and eventually became an emperor of Rome. At the age of 20, he was an emperor is an equivalent of a king. Another guy that we all know of, Kirk Franklin. Have you heard of Kirk Franklin? Now let's come to the modern world. Have you heard of Kirk Franklin? Let's start saying, Pastor, you see, now people were living in the old days when things were different from now. Now, Kirk Franklin is living in the same world like you. He's not yet dead. And can you guess what? Kirk Franklin started playing the piano at the age of 4. At the age of 4, he would play the piano. You, at the age of 4, you were eating dust. At the age of 4, you are playing Cha Baba, Cha Mama. Cha Baba, Cha Mama is a game where people act as husbands and wives when they are young children. Cha Baba, Cha Mama. So Cha is for husband, for wife, for mother and father. Yeah, Cha Baba, Cha Mama. At the age of 4, that's what you are doing. Kirk Franklin was playing the piano. At the age of 11, he was a choir director of his church. At the age of 11, he was conducting the choir. He was a choir director. Wangari, when did you become a music director? At what age? Kirk Franklin, at the age of 11, he was a choir director. And look at what he became. Well, because he started it young. He's won the Grammy. Hasn't he won the Grammy? He's one of the most highly paid musicians in the world. Because he came early and conquered early. That's the beauty of starting early. Anything you start early gives you a head start. Tell your neighbor, anything you start early gives you a head start. Another founder. Let's go to founders now. Apple was founded by the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, at the age of 21. At 21, he had founded Apple. 21. How old are you, Pastor Bonke? 24. Steve Jobs was almost becoming a millionaire at the age of 24, if not a billionaire. Anything you start early succeeds. So by anything you start early succeeds. Microsoft. Who is the founder of Microsoft? Bill Gates. At 20, he founded Microsoft. At 20, he founded Microsoft. It's not like I'm giving you pressure, yeah? Don't say now this pastor is giving you pressure. No, I'm just trying to make you understand that you can discover your purpose early so that you stop living a purposeless life. You've been fornicating with girls, right, left, and center. You have a body count. Right now, your body count is 100, and you're 20. You have a body count twice your age. Actually, 5 times your age. 5 times your age. Is it something to smile about? Is it something to smile about? There's a song we used to sing. Something to smile about. Is there? How would the song go? Look at me. Is there anything to smile about? Look at the hungry child. Is there anything to smile at? Look at these children here, who at 20 have 100 people. Is there anything to smile about? There's nothing to smile about of what you're doing. It's not funny. Someone at 20 was becoming a billionaire. You at 20, you're chasing after girls. No, it's not possible. Say it's not possible. The founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, founded in university at the age of 17. At the age of 17, he was founding Facebook. And look at how successful all these people have become. Look at Kirk Franklin. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Look at Steve Jobs. Look at this other guy for Apple. Steve Jobs and Microsoft is Bill Gates. Look at how successful they have become. Tell me you can be successful if you start early. Tell me you can be successful if you start early.
Thank you for watching. We have a lot of nourishing videos uploaded weekly. So don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any of our lives or any of our videos that we upload. Also, don't forget to share with a friend. You can also meet us every Sunday for our 2 services. Our first service starts at 9 a.m. and our second service starts at 12 noon. Thank you.